Hey, what's up, guys? I'm just gonna share with you a little bit of a somewhat of an epiphany I've had about editing. I guess in general, just general editing, but with in regards to the sound wave and trying to crossfade between two different points that you slice and you rearrange, and then you just want to crossfade them back together so that it works out smoothly. So I'll just give you the context here. This is a rock song, basically like a whatever rock song. It's got drums, bass, guitar stuff. The drums are all edited and quantized to my satisfaction. So those are all dealt with. I believe the guitars, yeah, all the guitars are as well. And what we did was we re-recorded the bass, but the bass was recorded to the unedited drums. So unfortunately, there's quite a few different sections where it does not line up with the now edited drums. So I got to do some recording. Recording. I got to do some editing here. So I'll just give you guys a little listen here because there's a section right here that's really obvious. I think it's right here. So, whoops. I'll play that again here. So right there, obviously. So what I want to do first is just chop her up. And like any other DAW, you just have a slicing tool. So you want to slice that and then make this little new piece that I've made, make that nice and small so that it doesn't affect the tail end, the rest of the track that's going on. So I'm just going to check and see what else I'm going to slice here. So this section is pretty much right on par, so I'll slice there for now. And I might have to do some editing within this little new chunk here. But for now, I'm just worried about this little section here. So, first off, this is the old waveform. I'm just going to magnify the waveform. Actually, no, I'm going to do that later. I'm just going to line it up roughly to about the grid, which is right here. So where the wave starts reaching like its max point, kind of just line that up roughly about there. And then just give it a listen. So there, now it lines up almost perfectly with the kick. But the problem is there's a big gap here now. So what I want to do is blend these together. So I'm going to use a technique called crossfading. On Cubase here, you just you select two samples here, or whatever these are called, two of these things, and hit the X button, and then it crossfades them. And if you don't know what that is, I'm not going to go into details about what it is. You can look that up. There's probably some good tutorials about how to do that. But what I'm going to concentrate is on getting them to sound good and blend well so that it's not noticeable that you've edited anything. For now, I'm just going to undo that. And I want to show you what happens when a wave is cut off. So, let's see here. Let's get in real deep here. So if a wave is cut off at the very peaks, like this is like a positive peak, this is a minus peak. If you cut it off right at the peaks, you'll get a clicking noise. I'm just going to solo the bass. So you hear a click and a dead space, and then it comes back in. So these clicking noises, those always happen when there's wave information and then it's cut off suddenly. I don't know exactly why that is, but that's just the way that DAWs work in the electronic world. So now let's say, in theory, if I cut it off at the very neutral end, so like a 0 mark, it shouldn't make a clicking noise. There we go. So it doesn't click, but what I want to do is blend them together. So that's where the crossfade comes in. Crossfade them. But now, you can kind of look at it and it doesn't really look right to begin with. But I'll play you what the result is if you don't fine tune this. So as you can tell, that's not what we want at all either. So what I want to do is edit the crossfade to my liking. So this half here, I want to line up the waves with this half here. And I think it's actually done that already. But you can see the as I move it from side to side, you could see like one is more translucent in the background. That's this. And then on this side is the most, you can see the most green. It's hard to explain but I think you can probably understand what I'm trying to say. So what you want to do is line up these waveforms so that they relatively match, and then this crossfade is going to essentially just blend them together quite nicely. And it doesn't have to be perfect. I mean, I usually just pick a small spot rather than a large spot, and then it'll be much less noticeable. So now the end result here it's less noticeable. I think I can still fine tune it here. So I'm just going to drag this to the very end, see where it can be fine tuned. You can see as I drag this around, it's changing the waveform in a weird way. And that's kind of the deep and dirty of doing this editing. I think that's a little bit better. But again, it's not going to be perfect, so do a rough estimation, and then when it sounds good, that's what really matters. Then you know you're in the right spot. So let's hear what's going on now. So that's much less noticeable. You could probably not even tell if it's unsoloed here. So yeah, there you have it. That fixes the one section, and it blends together nicely. Like I said, yeah, it can apply to pretty much anything. I haven't really done it much with vocals, because mostly with vocals I'll chop up sections. But yeah, I haven't really used it in vocals that much. But lead guitars, or any kind of guitar, string instrument, that what I just showed you would apply pretty much definitely. And for percussive elements and stuff, you're mostly just dealing with empty spaces and then hard transients. So as long as you, let's say for a tom section, right here, this tom, it has resonance. So you just have to make sure you're not cutting off the resonance. And then in the exact same way, just try and match up the waveform so that it blends nicely. So I've been using Cubase. You can apply pretty much everything I've showed you as far as slicing or splitting, selecting areas, moving them around, quantizing, crossfading, enlarging or exaggerating the waveforms and making them smaller. Most of the new and the good DAWs do that. I know Pro Tools, Cubase, I'm pretty sure Logic does it, and probably a couple others. So essentially just take what I showed you and then apply it to your DAW of choice. So hopefully that helps, and happy editing, everybody.